If you would have told me that this trade idea would have been written about in The Athletic as a potential scenario, I would have called you nuts if you had told me at the end of the season that we'd be talking about the Detroit Red Wings and the New York Rangers in this way. I would have had no answer. But alas, we have ourselves an article on The Athletic that goes out there and talks about this very specific idea. So, let's go out there and read the latest piece from 2 days ago published by Peter Bowe, New York Rangers Mailbag, Part 1. Right-wing rumblings, Jacob Trouba options, and more. Now, of course, Peter Bowe writes for The Athletic on the New York side of things. He primarily does Rangers-related content, so this is a very New York-focused perspective. But if you wanted to talk about the main headliner, the guy whose name appears in the title, Jacob Trouba, the captain of the team, he's a guy who, after the season he had had and the playoffs that he had had as well, there's been a lot of heat on this guy as to whether or not his future with the New York Rangers is all too guaranteed. Trouba, after all, is making $8 million a year till the end of 25-26. He's super expensive. Also, by the way, I'm noticing now on Elite Prospects that their cap data is from Puckpedia now. That is awesome. They just incorporated all the same data that we were used to seeing from CapFriendly, and now they're using the Puckpedia service instead. That is awesome, since CapFriendly, of course, is not going to be usable by this time next month. Thanks, Washington. But either way, Jacob Trouba is a guy who had a really, really rough playoffs, and even though he had 7 points in 16 games played, 22 points in 69 games in the regular season as the captain of the team, he played very poorly. Especially towards the end, the way he was getting cooked by opposing offenders, and he wasn't really able to stand his ground. He'd go for hits, he'd put himself out of the play. He wasn't playing like an $8 million caliber guy at all. In a way, he kind of hurt the Rangers with the way he would make his decisions, and overall, he just was not good. I mean, watch the highlight packs, watch the tape, and look for any time number 8 is out there on the ice, because Jacob Trouba certainly does not have that $8 million pedigree as the Rangers go further into the playoffs. So, this article on The Athletic goes out there and talks about a few things. It talks about the idea of a Trouba buyout, that in which we did discuss in a prior video earlier, I think it was 2 weeks ago, something like that. We also talked about the idea in that video about Trouba getting traded, but all in all, that is one aspect of the conversation here. When it comes to the article that was written about on The Athletic, though, there was a very interesting idea tossed out there that involves Trouba and the Detroit Red Wings. Now, The Athletic has paid for material. We're not going to go out there and screenshot this article. Instead, we're going over onto Heavy.com, because what Antonio Lasada did was he summarized the comments made by Peter Bowe on The Athletic. Trade proposal sees Rangers unload Jacob Trouba on the Red Wings. So, let's go out there and read what it is that Peter Bowe says. He proposed a trade that could help the Rangers unload Trouba's contract by sending him to Detroit. A hypothetical trade would be Trouba, with some of his salary retained by the Rangers, to Detroit for Justin Holl, who has 2 years left in his deal at $3.4 million AAV, and who was a healthy scratch at times during the regular season. New York could then either buy Holl out for a cheaper cost than Trouba, or keep him as an overpaid third-pairing defenseman. Peter Bowe thinks that the Rangers might find a trade partner, but he acknowledges there is not a great solution to solving the problem posed by Trouba's large cap hit. My guess is there are teams that would be interested in Trouba, but I can't see any of them being interested in taking on his full contract and sending NHL players back to the Rangers. Now, the rest of this article goes out there and talks about why the Rangers would want to trade away Trouba. And okay, I'll admit, maybe I'm a little bit dramatic in saying that Trouba absolutely stunk in the playoffs, but that second half of the playoff run was not great, and overall, his season was very so-so. He's not really the kind of guy that demands $8 million and plays like an $8 million caliber guy. He's just big, he's physical, he hits, he scores points sometimes, and he takes very wild penalties, with a lot of them being in the potentially suspendable territory. So you could understand why Trouba's reputation, not just amongst Rangers fans, but amongst fans of the NHL in general, had tanked quite a bit over the past few months here. But the idea of sending him over to Detroit, giving Stevie Y all of the Rangers' extra scraps here, I know it's kind of dehumanizing to talk about a hockey player, the captain of a team, as a scrap, But you get what I mean here, right? Like, the reason Trouba is being discussed in trades is because he is an undesirable asset to have on the team. His contract is too big. He provides little positive value compared to the negative he brings. And just trading him away for Justin Holl so you could buy out Holl on a cheaper contract is some 3D kind of chess stuff that I don't think Steve Yzerman would be down to go out there and say, yeah, sure, let's do that. Let's help the Rangers by doing this. Unless Steve Yzerman looks at Jacob Trouba and says, yeah, that's the kind of guy we need on our team. That's the kind of guy we need taking minutes away from Mo Seider. That's the kind of guy that we need to step in front of an Axel Sandin Pellikka on the depth chart. That's the kind of guy that can stabilize our blue line. Honestly, if you were to acquire a Jacob Trouba-like asset to put in the middle to bottom four pairings, I could understand that, but not at $8 million a year, even with salary retained. What are you going to retain, $2 million bucks? Give the Red Wings Trouba at $6 million a year for the next few seasons in a middle bottom four pairing position? No, like, that doesn't make any sense for Detroit. It's just a move where the Rangers could get a guy that they need to, buy out in order for them to save some dollars and get even better themselves. Like, it's a great move for New York, but it doesn't really appeal to the Red Wings unless you really do believe that Jacob Trouba could be better. Now, the article goes out there and also asks, why is it that the Rangers could target Justin Holl? It's fair to say that Justin Holl's status with the Red Wings is uncertain. The 32-year-old defenseman was a healthy scratch for a long chunk of 2024, appearing in just 3 games between the end of January and the regular season ending in May. Holl has a 3-year, $3.4 million AAV contract that he signed in July 2023, but he's failed to get a prominent role with the Wings since inking his deal. Red Wings head coach Derek Lalonde only used Holl 3 times after January. He also made concerning comments about Holl's future in Detroit, saying there were either 2 ways for Holl to play. Either feel we've trusted him all year, or if we get through the rest of the season with all 7 healthy defensemen, we might be the only team in history to do so. I think it'll play itself out. And so, with Justin Holl's position in the lineup not being all too guaranteed, I'm starting to wonder, okay, would the Rangers really be interested in doing something as ballsy as this? You trade your captain away for a guy that you want to buy out immediately. Like, if that doesn't indicate the status as to what Jacob Trouba is on the market right now, I don't know what would. You send your captain away for a player that had no impact with the Red Wings in 2024, like the calendar year 2024, and you just buy him out immediately? Like, is that not the biggest slap in the face that you could go out there and give to your captain? I thought that Marc-Andre Fleury getting treated by Vegas was bad. This could be even worse. But of course, though, it's a business, right? Hockey is a business, and you gotta go out there and maximize what it is that you have at any given moment, especially if you're a team like the Rangers, where your goal is to win right now. So, Rangers fans, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of trading away a guy like Jacob Trouba to Detroit, for example, just to get a guy that you could buy out in exchange? I get it, if you're doing fantasy GM mode, it's totally cool to do whatever. Players don't have feelings in the video game, so you could just get rid of whatever contracts you want. But in real life, it would seem a little bit ruthless, but then again, not necessarily illegal. Just the optics of that would be very odd, and it's an idea that I don't think the Red Wings have any significant reason to do. I mean, trade away Holl, sure, spend a few extra dollars to get a guy like Jacob Trouba instead, but then again, Trouba, there's a reason people in New York are calling for this guy to get sent away. I don't really know if this makes any sense for the Red Wings, to be honest, of course, unless Steve Yzerman really just likes Jacob Trouba. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Red Wings fans, Rangers fans, what are your opinions about this trade idea? Do you want to do it? Do you not? And if you were to do this, is it straight up just 1-for-1, Trouba for Holl, salary retained one way or whatever? Is there an extra asset or 2 that you need to add on? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.